How are you? How are you? It's crazy, crazy question, huh? We ask each other this 10 times a day. People do it as like a social ritual and they say, I'm fine or I'm okay, I'm good. Are you good? I'm good. As a social ritual, it's fine, but it doesn't mean much, right? But if we were to actually ask that question, it has quite a profound influence. Yeah. So how are you? What is the manner with which you are, your being, your ontology, you? What is the manner of your ontology? How are you constructing yourself? So what is this going to impact in your day? Everything. Yeah, everything you do. So what have you got to do today? Put it in the chat just to give you some examples. What are you up to? What are you doing today? It's like working, are you parenting, what's on your schedule? I'm teaching, I'm managing, I'm doing marketing, I'm making content. This is my day. Writing my book. Yeah. So what do you got to do today? Give me some context here. Teaching, parenting, driving. Yeah, Terry, if you're driving, just take it a bit easy on the practice, okay? Like maybe just quietly listen. I'd recommend pulling over if you do want to practice with us. Part working, yeah, part ham. Okay, so let's take how do I say your name? My Croatian friend, Sinisa? Sinisa? Okay, Sinisa says working, parenting, having fun. So these might be three different modes, right? So if he brings one mood to the whole thing, that might be a problem. So Sinisa, dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
You happy to work with me for a minute?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you can quit at any point. I won't be offended. So I'm just picking on you because I've got Croatian love at the moment. So what mood are you in right now? How are you?
Well, sunny with a hurt in my shoulder.
Okay, so you've got a little pain in your shoulder, but otherwise sunny.
Yeah.
Okay, so your sunny mood is going to affect all of those things. Yeah. Is the sunny mood
Yeah.
going to help with working?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
If I can find motivation, yeah, it will.
Ah, okay. So there's a sort of sunny, happy, but maybe not very like productive kind of mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we could be like sunny, but it's not like focused or work orientated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, just because you're Croatian, people might not realize you're sunny. So, show me more sunny. What does that look like? Can't hear you. Sorry, you've muted yourself. Ah, okay, you can't talk right now. All right. I'm gonna have to work with someone else then in that case. I don't understand what's just happened there at all. Okay, I guess you can't speak right now. Are you at work or something? Maybe type if this. Let me know the context. I'm a bit confused. Can't talk but muted. So who muted you?
Yeah. Sorry. I muted myself for coughing and then I couldn't unmute.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That gives me some context. Okay. So you were telling me you're in a sunny mood. But it sounds like not a super focused or productive mood. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm fighting with lack of motivation for some time now, but sunny is well due to the fact that it is sun. Well, you can see it on my head. It's not just
Okay, so that's the weather, not you.
well, weather with me. I try to go with the weather.
Yeah, I mean, we're always embodied in a context, right? People have probably seen my embodied context model. Like, it does make a difference. I was just in Berlin, which has a certain mood, it's got a certain heaviness. It's very different. Like, I don't know, my girlfriend's in Sicily. She's in a very different mood just from being in the sun in Sicily when I talk to her. So the environment definitely makes a difference, but it's not everything, right?
Yeah.
Show me the mood you're actually in as honestly as you can by exaggerating it. Make it bigger in your body.
Well,
Don't tell me about it. I can see what you're about to
a
do.
burden,
Don't tell me about it.
a burden.
Stop it. Stop
Okay.
talking. Show me it. Show me it. Make it bigger. Okay, so it's like make the noise.
Yeah.
Like okay. So there's the story about the mood, right? But then there's the actual mood. So to me, that looks a little bit different than what I would call sunny. This is an interesting thing with language. People can have different versions of things. Yeah. What's another word for blah, you just showed me?
Weight.
Weight, like heavy?
Yeah, like heavy.
Okay, got it. So in terms of working, which it sounds like you need to do today, I'm imagining that's not going to be very helpful for that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you, by the way, for being honest. Often, people have like a surface layer and then the body shows you a slightly deeper level. So I appreciate that. Yeah, Havala. Okay, so what might be more useful for, I made you smile with Havala, yes? What might be more useful
Yeah.
for your work? What kind of mood? I think I'm already shifting it. What might be more helpful for your work?
Well, if I could find continuity in motivation, that would help a lot,
Yeah,
so that it
okay,
doesn't
let's
go in sinuses.
okay. Yeah, the Wi-Fi's a bit on and off, but I think I got that. So, are you kind of like leaning forwards on your desk right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like slumped over. If I do that, I'm like, I get that, especially when it's like winter. I get that feeling. It's okay. What's that? What's that telling you if you're in that mode, like that heavy mode? Let's see if we get the message before we move on. Like
Hmm.
demotivating, right? Like who said you have to be fucking motivated the whole time? You're not a machine,
Yeah,
right? So what's it
exactly.
telling you?
Cool off, give it a rest, or take it
Okay.
easy, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes we just need rest. It's like I love my job, but there's days when I'm just like I need a rest. Like I got off the flight yesterday. I was like, I'm tired. I'm not working. Yeah. Okay. So good to acknowledge that. Maybe come to the body, and if it feels okay for you, just touch the body and acknowledge like, right now I'm a bit demotivated. Maybe I need a rest. The other thing people often need when they're demotivated, one is rest, and the other one is inspiration, and they're two different things, right? Like if I'm feeling demotivated, sometimes I've lost my passion and my inspiration. Sometimes I just need a rest. Which of those two things do you think it might be if you had to pick?
I'd say the latter one, motivation, more than rest, because, well, I kind of had more than enough rest in the last year or so.
Okay. Okay.
So
Sometimes people are just tired.
yeah,
Sometimes they need re-inspiring. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So this is partly winter. It's partly cultural. The Slavic countries often are a bit, down. Spend a lot of time in like Croatia, Serbia, Ukraine, Poland, and there's often that heaviness in the winter. So let's see if we can find a bit of up. Join me if you're happy to. So find the lightness now. So you're not leaning on the desk and look up. You can have fun with this. Imagine a spaceship's coming to pick you up. So there we go. And breathe. And ask yourself, where's my inspiration? Where's my inspiration? Keep looking up, keep breathing. Imagine you're breathing like crazy, like rainbow LSD infused air. Ah, asking yourself, where's my inspiration? We can do this another way. Come down, put your hand on your heart. Take a little back bend. So it's the opposite of the slump before. It's a little back bend. And ask, where's my passion? Take a couple of breaths into the chest here. Ah, where's my passion gone? Ah, It's three deep breaths. We want to do a full Wim Hof. God, I'm getting hot. Ah, okay.
Hmm.
Any insights there about inspirational passion?
Well, I would say it's there. I just have to, well, occasionally have a coffee with it, do a
Nice.
recheck, and yeah,
Yeah, often I find
try.
work just kind of, sorry, after you.
No,
One more time.
I was gonna say that I do have motivation. I just have to. I sometimes physically struggle with finding it. So it's easier to go down and watch a series than
Yes.
getting up and doing something that's actually, well, working.
Yeah. Notice you already know embodiment. You said down and up. Okay, so inspiration, passion is up, and then this sort of demotivation is down. This is in the language, it's in the body. Every language has the same directions, actually. Um, what can help you? You said have a coffee with it. I like that, and that was great. What can help you to get up? Let's give you something to come away with here that you can not rely upon me to do this crazy embodiment shit with you, but you can actually take away as your own little practice.
Well, actually, I could try making a coffee. I don't drink coffee, so it wouldn't be a
Okay,
ritual that I just do every morning, but
nice.
it would be a ritual of, yeah, actually getting a coffee with my motivation, not on a regular basis, but on a basis when I think I need it.
Yeah, I mean, every drug has its place, right? In moderation, right? Every drug has its place, including caffeine. And I would say if you could make it a ritual, I really like that word. We're ritualistic creatures. Like you could leave the house if you work from home. That's super helpful. Take yourself for a coffee. This
Mm,
is your idea, not mine. And put a little bit of that up embodiment in. Have your coffee and then ask yourself this question, like, why do I care about my work? Yeah? Like, why do I care about it?
yep.
Because otherwise we just get caught in the details of doing the work and we forget what's in service to. That's another question you could ask yourself. Does that make
Mm,
sense?
yeah. Perfect sense.
Good. So if you want to take yourself for a coffee, find just that inspiration, do a little bit of the embodied work, a little bit of the up rather than the okay, and a little bit of inquiry. Just take that half an hour to be like, what inspires me? What am I in service to? These are what do we call theo-regulation questions, questions that connect us to something bigger than ourselves. Good.
Yep.
Final thoughts or questions?
No, just a big thank you.
Oh, you're super welcome. And hopefully I've got some retreats in Slovenia this year that are pretty close. And there's a two or three members of the team in Croatia, including Ranko. So if you are on Keck,
Yeah, right.
you'll be able to ask them questions in Croatian. So yeah. Nice to meet you, mate. Take care.
Great. You too. Thanks.
Bye, good. Okay, so I kind of jumped in a little bit there with Sinisa. We'll just give ourselves a little wriggle, have a quick reset. Would it be lovely to see a few more people on camera just because it really helps me co-regulate, to see you guys, to connect. And thank you, Barbara. Yeah, it just kind of gives me a sense that there's real human beings there and not like this machine. You know what I mean? That's the humanity we all need, me included. Yeah, Yana's doing her kitchen. That's fine. Like, I totally don't mind if you're doing chores or whatever. Good. So what did I do there? Something really simple embodied coaching. So first of all, it was just getting someone tuned into the mood. So we have a model of embodied intelligence. Actually, let me see if I've got the graphic. I might be able to pull it up. Yeah. We have a model of embodied intelligence, and it really starts with self-awareness. And until people are aware of their mood, then that's the starting point, right? In this case, he said sunny, which was partly the weather, but partly the mood. So we had to go a little bit deeper. And then we found something which may be kind of richer, a little bit deeper than the original response, which is normal. People have to tune into themselves. That takes a little while, right? And then once we understood that, one first thing was like, okay, let's get the message. Now, because I know my way around moods and emotions reasonably well, there's a sort of language, yeah. When someone tells me they're demotivated, that can mean a couple of things. So sometimes it just means they're really tired and they just need to rest. Actually, I think Banksy did a piece of graffiti on this. He said, if you're exhausted, you may need rest and not quitting, right? And that's really common. I mean, the modern world, everyone's just burnt out, so super common. But the other side is people lose their inspiration. Super common in January, super common in Eastern Europe. And, culturally, there's a piece there as well that I'm aware of from knowing his country a little bit. I've been there probably 10 times. And there's a somatic part. So our job as embodiment coaches is to help people, yes, with the questions, right? Like a normal coach might say, what is your work in service to? And that might be inspiring. But we're also helping with the embodiment. In this case, I use two poses from what we call Embodied Toolkit. This is one of the things we teach on Keck. This is inspiration pose, aka fuck yeah pose. Okay. This is inspiration pose, and this is passion or fuck yeah pose. And both of those poses have a kind of upwards direction, so they can help people shift out of their mood. And then I like this idea of going for a coffee with himself. First of all, to me, that felt like connection, like connecting to oneself, right? Like you go for coffee with a friend to talk to them. I like that feeling of relationality. And also just biochemically, like a little caffeine isn't a bad thing if you're trying to get a bit of up in your system, right? So it's like, I'm like, okay, great. That seems on several levels like a really good idea. So I just rolled with that, and then I turned it into a practice, or as he said, a ritual. The problem with insight is it doesn't last. Yeah. So people can go to coaching, have an insight, and then their body reasserts itself. What Stuart Heller calls the bureaucracy of habit. The body reasserts itself, and they go back to their old way of being. Because Sinis has been practicing being him for like, I'm guessing like 30 years or something, right? For a long time. Yeah. So it's to break that habit, he needs to do something different. Right. Then he can think different. He can see the world different. He can get in a different mood for his work, what he needs to do. Does this make any kind of sense, what I just did? So pretty simple, but in my experience, very effective. Any questions on the method? We're not gonna like give him ideas, but in terms of the method, oh, and Virginia's helpfully put the course that teaches this. I'm gonna keep plugging it because we need to keep the lights on. Actually, there's already 150 people booked, but I think we're aiming for a bit higher. And yeah, in-person events. So if you prefer not to work online, the retreats in Slovenia are gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. Like just a beautiful. Slovenia, Croatia is my favorite part of Europe. There's a reason I'm moving there to live, and it's not just that there's less tax in Croatia. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, good people too. So come check it out. Good. Any questions from our coaches or wannabe coaches? By the way, if you haven't put your location by your name, like Sinisa has, please do that. I'd love to see that. And if you're on Keck or a Keck grad, please put Keck by your name and give me some sense of the context. David, you look like you're somewhere nice. You somewhere tropical. I just went outside in the grey in England, so don't rub that shit in, okay? Any questions on what I did? Pretty straightforward. Just type the question, Davis. I tend to get people to type questions because otherwise they give me long speeches about their childhood trauma and everything else. And, typed questions are much, much more concise for everyone. All right, I can come to your question. No, the training is online. The training is 6 months online, which spreads out the learning really nicely. And then if you want, you can top it up with some face-to-face work. We don't do a certificate for this face-to-face work. It's much more like a deep experience, lots of nature connection. It's less about, a coaching certification. Yeah, what if people are disconnecting their body? Well, everybody is. I mean, no, that's what I just did was help him with his body, right? Like just being present with people, asking them to go a layer deeper, helping them regulate a little bit. This is an embodied coach's job. Yeah, this is an embodied coach's job. There can be reasons around trauma and all sorts of other things, but most people just need a bit of space, bit of time, bit of encouragement. It's not like everyone can feel. If you couldn't feel, you'd be dead. There's actually a medical condition where people stop feeling and they die within 8 weeks. Yeah. It's like so everyone can feel. No one's totally dissociated, but most of us are a bit dissociated. Like I was just walking around Berlin and people are like, closed down. And it takes a bit of care to get them back in their bodies. Yeah. No, the embodiment coaching can be done in person and online. If you go to YouTube, you will see lots of examples of me coaching people in person. It's much easier in person, but it's totally possible online, like we just did. So, yeah, if you want to see in-person examples, I made Miriam famous by doing people-pleasing coaching with her in Amsterdam, who I can see here. She's my friend from Amsterdam. So yeah, on Instagram, you'll see short versions, and YouTube, you'll see like full 10, 15-minute coaching sessions. And obviously you can use touch and different things, but it's not necessary. Yeah. Yeah, Croatia and Slovenia both beautiful if you get a chance. Mm. What is the exam in Keck? Hey, Savina, what's your first language? Where are you? Nice to meet you. So, yeah, the exam is a video. So we get you to video a session with your client. I wanted to make Keck have a standard and not just be like a bullshit certificate. You know what a bullshit certificate is? Where you like pay your money and you get your certificate, and everyone's like, yeah, I got a certificate. Why? Yeah, so we actually have a standard. You'll be assessed doing centering in your peer group, where one of our assistants will come to your peer group. So peer groups are part of the course. And then later on, you'll send an exam, and that exam is a short video of you working with a client. So kind of like one of my YouTube videos. Mm. People always say it's not possible in 12 minutes. I'm like, here's 50 examples from YouTube. So totally possible. Yeah. Uh, Virginia, you just sent me a message. I'm not sure if you meant to. All right, that's enough talk.
I
Let's do
did,
another.
Mark. That's Davies's question.
Oh, you just sent me his question. Did I miss it? Yeah, online is fine. You can totally do it online, like we just did, right? Online or in person, both totally fine. A little bit different, but both fine. In some ways, online's easier because people feel safer, like in their own houses. Yeah. In some ways, it's harder because you can't touch people. But whatever. All right. Who else would like some coaching? Please put the topic in the chat. Let me know the topic. Nothing hardcore, existential, traumatic. Write the topic in the chat, and I'll pick one that looks appropriate and helpful for the group. Jana's in Latvia. Hey, Jana. You on Keck this year? Welcome. Haven't been to Latvia in a while. Beautiful library in Riga. Did a job there. Fear versus excitement. I like that one, Terry. Barbara, we could work with that. So many good ones. You're gonna have to come back to another session. The home back from Germany. There's so many good ones, but I think I saw fear versus excitement first. So, Terry, is your Wi-Fi good? I just want to check before we go for it. Yeah. All right. Let's highlight Terry.
Hey,
Hello, Terry. Where are you in the world?
I'm in France.
Oh my God. Why are you there? What possessed you?
I have no idea. It was a moment of craziness, and I've been here
You
10 years
sound
now.
very English though.
I'm from London, innit?
You're from London, geezer. Right, with you fucking London coaching, mate. None of these foreigners will understand nothing. All right, good. It's always good for me to get the sort of cultural and environmental context of where someone is. Just a bit more context. What do you do for work? Your mum? What? Say again?
So I was a police officer for 11 years in London, but now
I didn't do it.
Eh?
I didn't do it. Totally wasn't me. Okay, moving
yeah,
on.
pretty much. I should have been a social worker, but now I am. Well, I'm a fitness teacher, but I've gone into the world of breathwork and trauma, and I actually want to do what you're doing, Mark, which is how I got into.
So come train with us on Keck. Don't make me sell to you. Okay, so
my hope
bit
for
of
next month.
fitness. I love trauma, breathwork. I love too. So we've got stuff in common.
Mm-hmm.
Take
And
a breath.
self-defense. I'm martial arts and boxing teacher. So yeah.
Awesome. We should totally be friends if nothing else. Take a breath. Find your feet on the floor. I know it's sort of can be fearful / exciting being coached. Relax the jaw. Soften the belly. Just do some gentle breath work. I need it because I can see a policewoman behind you on a picture. So, I need to relax. So, all right. Tell me in one sentence how I can help.
I am caught between this constant place of fear and excitement. I feel them both the same within my body.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's holding me back from going forward in my business, because every time I manage to sort of turn that fear into excitement and move forward, something just pulls me back into fear. And
yeah. They're very similar.
They are.
Yeah, and fear is just excitement in drag is one saying that I've heard before, which I think is kind of fun.
And I heard as well that fear is excitement without the breath.
Yeah, it's another way of saying it. But
But I like drag.
people often get very keen on like definitions of emotion, but what the key thing is what it means to you. So what's the distinction for you between fear and excitement?
Well, excitement has this, well, it has a positive feel. It has a feel of things are moving forward in the world, and that feels bloody good.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, the valence is different, so it feels positive, not negative. Yeah, and secondly, that there's a movement forward, so it enables action rather than freezing the possibility of action. Is that a fair? I'm kind of putting words in your mouth here, but
no, that's fair.
yeah. So physically, the one is tighter and less pleasant, and the other one is buzzy, maybe, but it's got but it's not so tight, so you're still able to act. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so now we have a somatic distinction, not just a sort of philosophical distinction. Okay, so changing valence directly is difficult, but changing tension levels very easy. Yeah, so if fear is tight and stops action, what can you do? This isn't rocket science.
Relax.
Okay, right.
Breathe.
And that's easy to say, but it's something that needs practice, yeah? So in terms of areas to relax, one is the eyes. Yeah, it sounds like you know how to work with the breath already, so we can soften and lengthen the out breath. Yeah, and just to add to your breath knowledge and always work with what people already know, is see if you can have peripheral vision. So I noticed your eyes are quite kind of focused. Soften the jaw, doing great. Soften the belly, soften the eyes. So right now you're probably a bit scared because you're being coached, you're being seen, you're on camera.
By Mark Wolf, yeah.
I know, right? He's a big deal. Notice what you just did with your eyes.
Okay, what, opening, widening?
Yeah. So we're building awareness so you can have more choice. This is the basic algorithm we run as embodied coaches, right? The belly, softer or tighter?
It's probably actually tighter right now.
Yeah. So tighten it some more, and then you can and then soften it. It's often fears like this deep tightness that's quite subtle. It's not like when you tense your abs for your fitness photo shoot, right? It's more like a subtle tightness. But if you really tense it, like your kind of fitness style, and then soften.
That feels good.
That's nice, huh? You see, now it feels nice. So the valence has changed. By changing the level of tightness, we change the valence as well. Contraction just doesn't feel good for most people, right? It's like, yeah. This is say yeah, without collapsing.
Okay.
Because we want to keep how to do relaxation, but not excited relaxation. So we need the high energy relaxation as opposed to high energy tension. My sense is you can do the low energy relaxation, which is like chilling, which is fine, but you want something for action, you told me earlier. Yeah. So do this. Relax while expanding. Yeah, take your arms up.
I can't see you. Am I meant to be able to see you?
Maybe you could highlight me, Virginia. So like a star. So you're going, great. Not the back bend, because we're not going into orgasmic passion, because it's excitement works a little bit different than I was doing before. So this is new, I think, for you, right? So it's relaxed expansion. So I sometimes talk about energy states, and so this is what we're doing now. This is what you were doing before. High energy but bad. This is high energy but good. You know how to do this one, which is great. This was doing this one before. Low energy but bad. Okay, so you're doing this now. We're teaching you a new way of being. Which needs practice. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So now you have a somatic distinction, i.e. an embodied distinction, and a way of doing it. Yeah. What do you need to do now?
Go away and practice it.
Boom. Okay, this is why I love working with fitness people, because they fucking get it. So it's okay. This is where intellectuals go wrong. So yeah, this is something to practice. So it's relax and expand as a new way of being.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to do one more piece. Are you still with me? You still got energy?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the other one I wanted to say is let's befriend the fear a little bit. Right? So fear isn't bad. Why is fear not bad?
Well,
what's useful about it?
what is probably, I'd say it shows us that we're passionate about something, that
we care,
yeah,
passionate, caring. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're not scared of anything you don't care about, right? We're scared to lose things we care about, right? That shows care. Good. What else? What does it do behaviorally that may be useful?
Oh goodness, that's a good question.
I mean, it's like, I'm not scared of much, right? And it gets me into all sorts of fucking trouble. What kind of trouble do you think I get into because I don't have enough fear?
Oh, okay. So I guess it shows you perhaps things that you maybe shouldn't be going into, and you know, like me when I was a police officer, there's fear there for a reason.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, like
someone with a gun to my head or something, you know. Yeah,
right. There's a great book called The Gift of Fear by someone who used to work a lot with police and security called Gavin DeBecker. You could read. But the key thing here is that fear has a use, right? It tells us what we care about. It tells us what we're risking. It tells us what might be dangerous. Okay, so if you were to befriend your fear, so we go, okay, you know what, I can go into this excited state. That's great, but sometimes it's okay. So I'm going to suggest you do a little gesture to befriend your fear. Give it a cuddle. Let's be a bit hippie about it. Maybe a little hug. How could you befriend on the body? How could you befriend your fear? One hand on the body. You've got two hands here. There we go. Great. And you know, there's maybe a little part like parts work. There's a little girl that isn't a tough policewoman athlete. You know, there's a part of you that's scared. There's a part of all of us that's scared. You know, I'm scared of flying. You know, and it's can we befriend it? Can we say, yeah, it's okay, I get it. Thank you. The thing with fear is it's like a little kid. If you ignore it, it just keeps shouting louder.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm working with IFS at the moment. So that
okay, great. So we can kind of IFS is great trauma modality for people who don't know. I had some therapy from Dick Schwartz. Very lucky. Yeah, nice rub on the upper arms. Women particularly have receptors under the triceps, which are to do with self-soothing. You'll see women often do this a lot. Yeah. And yeah, if you've got nice triceps, you can just give them a squeeze too, you know, down the gym. By the way, I'm using humor to keep you regulated if people don't realize. Good. So then coming back to center, finding your feet on the ground again. And let's go one more time, just so you've got that distinction between fear and excitement. So we've got the tense fear, which is up and tense, and then relaxed and up. Say Great. And I'd like you to put it in your diary to practice that 3 times a day. Okay.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Any final thoughts, Terry? We all good?
Yeah, no, we're all good. Thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Lovely session. Cheers, Terry. All right. So let's see, what have we been doing? So more awareness and choice stuff, right? Bringing awareness to people's existing patterns, giving her a new distinction. That's a kind of self-awareness you often can't get from meditation and you need a coach for. So you can meditate on your fear, but you probably won't be able to make the distinction between fear and excitement. Again, having some maps helps. You know, I have these up and down and this emotion and that emotion, but I'm always checking it out because you never know what a person means. You know, like what's the word for anger in Greek, Virginia?
It can be thimos.
Exactly. There's multiple versions, right? And it might have different associations. Everyone's speaking Greek. So when Terry says excitement, I don't actually know what she means until I understand the bodily version. Yeah. And it's classic when people don't have a distinction between something, they don't have good choices. So to open up the self-regulation and the choices, we need to make a distinction. So we call distinction coaching on CAC. And then we just did a little bit of self-regulation from actually reframing the feel bit and okay, let's do a little bit of gentle parts work, not as hardcore as IFS given this context, but a little bit of kind of soothing around that. So yeah, I mean, pretty standard body coaching, finishing with a practice. In this case, I just gave her the practice. It was fine. It was straightforward. My sense was there was enough trust there. It wasn't a big deal. Sinister actually came up with his. Either way is fine. You know, the client, sometimes it's better if they invent them. Other times you're like, just go to this. And she's like, yeah. Then the other thing is I felt like there's a lot of rapport there. I was using humor a lot to regulate her. So this is one of the things we're teaching on Keck this year for the first time is use of humor in coaching. I just taught this to the Germans, so I can teach it to fucking anyone. Okay. Yes, this is my superpower, one of them, and we've added this to the course this year. Good. Any questions on what I was doing? We're not going to give her advice, but questions on the method. Fear keeps us alive. Yeah, fear's not bad. You know, fear's primal, can be helpful. I had to go through a process of reowning my fear of Virginia, and then I immediately got scared of flying. But flying is insane. Like, why would you be in a metal tube in the air? Why? Why? Totally insane. And also, there was a message in there for me, which is like, it's time to settle down. It's time to start running around the world. You know, like all these trips I do abroad, I'm stopping that. I'm going to go move to Slovenia, Croatia, and just have a dog and settle down. So people can come to me. The humoring Keck last year. No, it's new this year, Miriam. We're doing a new session on humor this year. So yeah, you can redo Keck, by the way, for a pretty small fee. But there's two things we're adding this year. A load of stuff on meaning making, which I'm going to show in the next demo. The next one I'm going to show us the tetrarchy model, which is my new model that's new this year to Keck. You might like that, Keck grads. And it's all about meaning making and theoregulation. So yeah, I think that will be a bit different. That'll be the next session. So really nice classic stuff. So can we thank both our volunteers, because they actually helped me show some very sort of classic. So Terry and Sinister, thank you, Merci and Havala. Does it look easy? It's because I've done it for 20 years. Yeah. Okay. It is actually relatively straightforward, though, as a method, which is why we can teach it in 6 months and not 6 years. The method itself is relatively straightforward. Yeah. Kind of deep, but still fun. It can work with blokes. It can work with ex-policewomen. So actually, I work with the police in London. They're fine to work with. They're really down to earth, really straightforward, much more teachable than fucking doctors, I'll tell you. Police were like really trainable. I thought they were fine. Totally fine to work with. Oh yeah, valence. So valence means positive or negative feeling tone. Vedana in Pali, if you're a Buddhist. Yum or yuck. Okay. So fear has a yuck feeling. No one likes fear. Excitement has a yum feeling. That's to do with the relaxation quality. So a nice down-to-earth way of explaining it. Yeah. All right. Should we take a couple of deep breaths together? If you didn't get a chance to jump in, come back later, or just do Keck. Couple more breaths. Thank you again to both our volunteers. All right. I think we'll leave it there. Keep it short and sweet. Couple of good ones. Thank you to Virginia for hosting, and see you on the next call. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Terry. Thank you.